Okay. Are we indeed live? Let's see here. Let's do this. Come on.
Gemini in Google Workspace makes you smarter.
Oh, shut up, Mark Cuban. Let's see. Now live on your channel. Do I look okay? Let's see if I sound okay and if I can get echo. Okay. And let's see if I sound okay and if I can get echo. Yep, I did. Okay. Let me close that. Let me go completely on wired internet so I have a more secure setting. And hello, it's 10 o'clock. My name is Bill. You're watching Bill's Box of Sound. And this is how we start the live stream, at least for tonight. Well, good evening, folks. My name is Bill once again. You have reached Bill's Box of Sound and my usual, almost reliably for every week, Saturday night live stream where we talk about music, we talk about records, CDs, and all sorts of stuff like that. It's Bill's Box of Sound. Whatever I want to talk about, it's fun. Oh, right away, Paul Ayers is in the room. Good to see you, sir. And it says, I'm once again going to miss you. I'm at Disneyland with the wife here in California. So excited for apostrophe the 50th. Yeah, it's going to be on the 16th of September, I believe. And it says, also going to see Guided by Voices at the end of the month. They're my new favorite band. How come I'm not surprised, Paul? Anyway, only heard the first 8 Guided by Voices albums and only have 32 more to go. And then you got a veritable buttload of Robert Pollard records, Circus Devils, all sorts of other things. Go to rockathon.com and you'll be able to find a whole bunch of things to spend your money on. Rumple and Fetish, have fun, enjoy it. So good. I'm very glad. If you're enjoying music, that's always a good thing. Music is something that if we didn't have, I think a lot of us would definitely not be well. We would be very unwell without music. We would be unhappy, and we may do things that other people don't like very much. But you know what? I love music. I think music makes me a good person. I think it makes lots of people good people. And it's fantastic that we can share our music with each other. We can talk about it. We can have music we like, that we don't like. Music that excites us, depresses us, cures us of what depresses us. Music that makes us think better. And it's not just music. It's the entire recorded medium. Radio, television. And now that we've got cable, streaming, the internet, us. Got all sorts of things. So, good evening, Kevin in Wyoming, where it is now 8:08 p.m. And good evening, Mowgli. Life without music would be an intolerable insult. I like that one. That's good. All right. So, last week we had a show that was a little bit earlier. And hold on a second. Got to adjust the lights so we don't get so much glare. We had an earlier show so that people in Europe could enjoy it. Also because I had commitments at night. Now, September is going to be a freaky month. There was a football game today. There was a Ohio State University Buckeyes game. They beat the Akron Zips, and that was in the afternoon. So I got to sit and watch it with my wife. She's happy, so I'm happy. And then next week there is a game that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So there's a very good chance that at 10 p.m. I'm not going to be able to do a live stream. So there's a good chance that either next week there will be a show on at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I believe 9 p.m. European Summer Standard Time. And that would be noon Pacific Time. Adjust for your time zone appropriately. Also, let me get up my little calendar. Going through the month of September. Let's see. Oh, that was August. Okay. Okay, yeah. Next week's late game. On the 14th of September, there will be no show. I have a charitable DJ gig that I'm doing, so I will not be available all day long. On the 21st, let's see, we've got the devotional at the Beachland Ballroom and Tavern. You know what that is? If you're a frequent visitor of this show, the devotional is the yearly Devo convention. It happens at the Beachland Ballroom and Tavern out on the east side of Cleveland. I believe this is going to be, the 23rd year of it, but I go there every year. I don't stay for the entire show. I stay for as long as I can. I've got responsibilities that I have to adhere to, so I don't stay for the whole thing. So on the 21st of September, September. On the 21st of September, it's going to be questionable as to whether or not I show up for the show. So we'll see what happens. And then the last Saturday of September, which is the 28th, I find no problem because it looks like the game with OSU versus Michigan State is going to happen at 12 noon. So I'll do what I can to be here for you and for us, and so we can have some fun, talk about music, etc. Hello, North Carolina Vinyl Picker. And let's see here. Da-da-da-da. Okay. All right. So, I just don't know in what order I'm going to talk about things. I will say one thing. About an hour or so before I went live here, and by the way, here's a Diet Coke. Here's to you. About an hour before we went live this evening, I got a comment on a recent video that I did a couple of months ago. Pardon me, called A Celebration of the Lock Groove. And somebody reminded me of an album that I did not mention in that video, but I do have a copy of. He says, "Hey, I like your lock grooves. How about comedy records?" And it's like, yes, there are comedy records with lock grooves, and he refreshed my memory, a record that I do have. And Kevin, you're going to dig this. On this album right here, Proctor and Bergman, Give Us a Break. These are two guys from the Fire Sign Theater. And this is an album of comedy sketches and parodies of different radio and television things. And as a matter of fact, Kevin and I got to meet Proctor and Bergman when they did their live show in Cleveland. And this is back in 1978. And very nice guys. I believe that Mr. Bergman is no longer with us, but Phil Proctor is. And here's what they looked like in real life back then, back in the late 70s. And yeah, great memories. And this is a very funny record if you ever see it. You could probably get it for $1 someplace if you look around. It's the comedy of Proctor and Bergman, Give Us a Break, on the Mercury record label. And there's a lock groove at the end of side 2, which sounds like the whole world is powering down. It's fantastic. Okay, so that happened. I've been cleaning up and listening to more of the records I got from the massive garage sale that had all the trashed records. One, which is really neat, I wish I could play this. I may have to do a Twitch a session where I can play copyrighted music at a low level and delete the video immediately afterwards so as to avoid any possible bootlegging. But this way people can I mean, it's not a generally known thing, but I might be able to play this. Anyway, it's a record called Computer Music on the None Such label. And this came out in 1970. This is some weird bloops and bleeps and stuff. And there's this track on side 2, is it? Yeah, called Changes. And it looks like the computers are saying meep and boop and neat and stuff like that. Very strange. Now, okay, you're refreshing my memory here, and I'm trying to remember. Okay, I remember being there at the Old Agora on East 24th. I don't remember Buddy Guy being there. Was Buddy Guy the opening act, or was he the main attraction there? That's what I would like to know. Kevin's probably typing right now furiously. But I don't remember Buddy Guy. And, I mean, since then, many years after, I've gone to see Buddy Guy live with my wife. And let's see. Oh, hello, Shane from Australia. Do you think we might get a one-size-fits-all boxed set? I have no idea. And I would venture to guess that if we are going to get a one-size-fits-all boxed set, it might happen in 2025, because let's see here. Let me pull out my original of that album here. A one-size-fits-all. Now, this album came out in 1975, and Universal has pretty much been doing 50th anniversary box sets. So that's just my educated guess, because I have no way of knowing for sure. But I would guess that if One Size Fits All got a boxed set, it would be in 2025. So wait a couple of years. Next year, I'm hoping for let's see. Well, maybe that one. And there was one other album that came out that year, Bongo Fury. It'd be cool if there was a box set for Bongo Fury. That would be unbelievable. And I know that people want it. So, all right, let's take a look. Kevin has answered the question. It says here, okay, they opened for, Buddy Rich. Okay. All right. I thought so, because I remember, now I recall the drum solos playing in the background while we were in the bar area yakking with Procter and Bergman. But, okay. Hilarious. So, all right. So, more of these trashed records, and it just hit my mind, Shane from Australia. The Vinyl Guide podcast comes from Nate Goyer out in Australia, and he just put out a new episode with Henry Rollins. Now, no matter what type of music you like, if you are a record maniac, Henry Rollins is probably no stranger to you, and he is very entertaining when he talks. But when he talks music, when he talks records, when he talks record collecting, it's even better. So I have to listen to that podcast. I've been catching up on a lot of podcasts and a bunch of other things. But let's see. I've also been finding some duplicates of records I already have. This I'm going to give to my older stepdaughter, because she needs to hear this record. It's awesome. Rod Stewart, Every Picture Tells a Story. Ron Wood's all over it. Another record that I got from the trash pile. Now, this here is my original copy of the first album from Angel. And Zappa fans, you're smiling right now because you're thinking, oh, Punky. Punky, Punky, give me your lips to die on. But look at all of that ringware. I found in the junk pile a copy that is in pristine shape. So I picked that up. Glad to see that. Let's see. I talked about those things last night. We may get back into those a little later on. But I want to talk about some other things. Oh, cool, Sheen. Oh, awesome, awesome. You dig Nate. Okay. All right. So I talked last week about this book, Earth to Moon by Moon Unit Zappa, her memoir of her highly unusual life growing up in the Zappa household. And I have actually been able to read some more of it. I am almost halfway done with it. I'd say that I'm somewhere between a third and a half done with it. At this stage, let's see, I'm at page number 115 of over 300. And as I said last week, I'm going to read one paragraph from this book every week until I get it done and I do my full review. So this is chapter number 23, entitled Tampons Require Instructions. I'm going to read the introduction to this chapter. And got to tell you, this is a very frank book. Not only in the fact that it's Frank Zappa's daughter, but there's a lot of very startling adult conversation in this. So I'll read, and this is Moon Zappa talking here. I follow Gail towards a building. The scent of big yellow flowers overhead pulls my attention to tall magnolia trees planted in a row. She swings a glass door open. I love the clack of her platform shoes on the sidewalk and the different sounds they make on the marble of the air-conditioned lobby. It would help if you washed your hands and hair more, she says, without looking back at me. She presses the up button next to a fern in a yellow pot painted with two Chinese dogs. The oil and dirt from your scalp and hands sit on your skin. Sorry, I say. I stare down at the ground. Apparently, she was visiting a doctor or a medical person about some acne or problems with her skin. So that's how far I am. Going to keep on reading. It's a good book, and man, whew, very different. Once again, Earth to Moon by Moon Unit Zappa. It's also available as an audio book. It's available as an ebook. And if you're a Zappa fan, I think it would be important for you to read it. Also, I watched the interview with Moon and Amit Zappa on Rock Tales with Amit Zappa, where they talked about the book. It was recorded a couple weeks ago. At that point in time, Amit had read only about half of the book. And they had a really cool conversation about it. And it'll make you want to read the book even more. So far, I am enjoying this book, not just as a Zappa fan, but as just studying people and how they are and how they grow up. So there's an album coming out because I went and visited a fellow vinyl community friend this week. A guy got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I was at that garage sale that you were at the other week." And I went back to see what else the guy had, and he offered me a price that I could not refuse on taking the rest of the records that were left over home. I've taken out everything I want from the collection. If you want to come over to my house and take a look, you can take whatever you want. And I said, cool. So I went over and got a few more records out of the collection. Some of the records cleaned up nice. Some of them don't. But it was really cool talking to the guy I mean, you know, I come over and he says, "Hey, you want a beer? You want a pop or something?" It's like, no, I just want to look at records. But we're yakking about music the whole time, and all the different things that the guy that originally owned the collection was into, and the stuff that he's into, and the stuff that I'm into, and he knows that I'm into Zappa and that I help out with the Zappa cast. And you know what? We found that we had a lot in common and very diverse tastes. And I said, "So, how big of a record collection do you think you have, dude?" And he says, "No, I think I probably got like about 4 or 5 thousand. I think. I mean, I haven't counted them all, but it fills up my basement." And you know, and I said, I don't want to impose, you know, because I've always thought maybe you go into people's houses that have really cool record collections and making videos about them. Could I possibly take a look at your collection? He says, "Yeah, come on down." So we went down to his basement. Man, what a cool collection this dude has. And he's got boxed sets that, I mean, this guy has invested major money in his collection. And it's a good collection. It's it's extremely diverse. We were talking a lot about Sun Ra and things like that. I mean, he's into jazz, he's into rock, he's into avant-garde. Very cool. Just had a lot of fun yakking about music. I spent as much time as I could there. I had to be someplace, so I had to excuse myself. I didn't get to shoot video at his house, but you never know. One day I may do that. But anyway, we were talking about Sun Ra, and he's talking about this album which I have called Strange Strings by Sun Ra and his Astro Infinity Orchestra. Now, this is not an original copy. This is a reissue that came out, I think, about 10 years ago. And it doesn't even tell you what the names of the songs are on the outside of the record. It's got one of the original covers on it. A lot of the very early Sun Ra albums had handmade covers on them. Only in reissues and represses did they actually get legitimate covers. And this was on the L Saturn label. I don't know if you're going to be able to read this, but let's see. This is side 1. Okay. And let's see if I can. Here we go. Worlds Approaching, Strings Strange. And on the flip side, you got Strange Strings, which takes up the whole side. But my friend, his name is Joe, he said that, "Hey, did you hear about the reissue of Strange Strings?" And I said, "No, I've already got it. I didn't think it would be interesting to buy a reissue." And he said, "Well, they've expanded it to a 2-record set, and there's more stuff on it." So I'm thinking, wait, this has 3 long tracks on it. So I looked into it. This is most places it's a 2-record set. It's about $40. Some places have it for less. Poke around, see what you can find. And for the first time on this record, you get information about what this album really is. Because it says here that what Sun Ra did is he got a whole bunch of stringed instruments. Ukuleles, violins, violas, and all sorts of different odd stringed instruments, and handed them out to the members of his orchestra. And they had no idea how to play these things, but you know, they're musicians. They know how to play their instrument. They can make noise with them. And they say, "Well, what do you want us to play?" He says, "Well, you play what you want to play. Play what you feel. I'm going to point to you and I'm going to direct you folks as to how to play this and what to play with direction, and that's how we're going to make the music. Okay? So these things were handed out to the members of the orchestra on the precept that, and this is a quote, strings could touch people in a special way. Now, I'm reading from the liner notes here. That the orchestra members did not know how to play these instruments was not beside the point. It was the point. Sun Ra themed it a study in ignorance. To this unconventional string section, he added a few sonic oddities, including a large piece of tempered sheet metal on which was chiseled the letter X, and the band's space vocalist Art Jenkins rounded out the ensemble. So, this album, which I just showed you, Strange Strings, is in monophonic. It's a mono record, 3 tracks on it. And the record has a lot of distortion in the mastering due to just the conditions of the time. But there were other sessions that were captured in stereo. There are a dozen strange string works that have been located, and 5 of which are included on this remastered edition. And the other ones are released on other labels. There's more information inside the gatefold of this record. So, those of you who dig the Sun Ra weirdness, Strange Strings is coming out, I believe, later on in the month of September. So, I would definitely check that out because I know I'm going to pre-order it. Let's see, let's catch up on some of the chat going on here. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's cool. Let's see. Hey, Bill, from Daniel Estevez. I recently bought the Real Frank Zappa book, but I want to read it eventually. LOL, I suck at reading books. See, you and me both, man. Like I said, it took me almost an entire year to read Steve Martin's book, Born Standing Up. Excellent, wonderful book. When I did discipline myself and find the time to read it, I enjoyed it immensely. And now I'm enjoying this Moon book. I'm trying to discipline myself to read a few pages minimum every day. And I had to take my wife to a doctor's appointment, and I took that with me. And while she was in her doctor's appointment, I was reading as much as I could. So we're going to get this moving here. And yeah, correct, Mowgli. The Frank Zappa book is a very readable book. It's good. You'll love it. It's a way of life, all sorts of conceptual continuity clues. And, oh, I love this guy. Mowgli, you are so dead on point. On the other hand, stay away from the negative dialectics of poodle play by Ben Watson. If you don't like reading, I've been a reader all my life, and that's a heavy sucker. Oh, man. I bought a first pressing hardback copy of the Negative Dialectics of Poodle Play when that came out. And fortunately, I was working at a boring job where I had to sit and wait for things to happen and then react to them. And when things weren't happening, I was reading this dumb book. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Thingfish album by Frank Zappa, but this guy, Ben Watson, came across as an overeducated shithead. That will make you laugh if you're familiar with Thingfish. But this book goes on, and this guy, Ben Watson, over-evaluates and over-examines every little piece of Frank Zappa music, linking it to Shakespeare and this and that, and finding the weirdest kind of sexual perversions that he's deriving out of the lyrics, when I believe all Frank was trying to do was to put something to his melody and make people laugh a little bit. So then, at the end of the book, because this book came out very soon after Frank Zappa passed away. To get his approval, he took the finished manuscript of the book and he contacted the Zappa residents and asked if he could read parts of the book to Frank to get his approval. And Frank was really sick. This is 1993 before he passed away. So Ben got to go there and read things to him. And apparently, according to what I've read, Frank laughed at a lot of the things that he was reading. He was kind of like in too much pain to really give deep comment on it, but I guess the guy took Frank's laughing as approval of the book. So he thinks that it's got the full Zappa seal of approval on it. If you are a lifelong fan of Frank Zappa, or if you listen to a lot of Frank Zappa music, you read this book, you'll know this guy is really not on point. So, Mowgli, dead on. Beautiful. Perfect. I like the way you think, dude. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, when I was researching that Sun Ra Strange Strings record, I've got this book here, The Earthly Recordings of Sun Ra. This is a big frickin' book. I mean, it's over 800 pages. It's all about the recordings of Sun Ra. And I was trying to look up information about Strange Strings. This book did not help. It's got a lot of things about the dates of the recording and stuff like that. But I couldn't find it. But anyway, yeah, the truth is in the reissue of Strange Strings, which is coming out soon. Anyway, and yeah, Mowgli says Frank was probably laughing at Watson's unmitigated audacity. That's right. But fortunately, he was not carrying a lead-filled snowshoe at the time. Okay, a CD that was pushed my way. This thing here, I was listening to this today. This is an album called Math Lord by Song Aria, or actually Song Aria is how it's pronounced on the album. And if you let me just take out this booklet because it's got a thick booklet on it. And you take a look at this artwork, very sci-fi oriented, and it's even got a parody of the parental advisory, explicit to content in there. And yes, that is correct. It is in Japanese. I did use my Google Translate on that, and it did translate it. And this is a 2 CD set, and it's got all sorts of lyrics and text and stuff like that in here. So what this is this is kind of like an operetta, heavily filled with hip hop and rap references. There's like 80s rock sounding stuff, some techno rock sounding things. Some straight out singing, a lot of rapping. Some of the stuff is kind of cool. Some of it's like inventive, and some of the stuff's even funny. This is a sci-fi story on 2 CDs, but it is available on Amazon for streaming. It's in 2 acts, and it's about this guy, who, Song Aria, who turns into a math lord and is traveling through galaxies with his vice admiral, looking for this chicken wizard, and it's different. It's weird. But it reminded me of Insane Clown Posse. And they have a great album called The Great Malenko. Now, you may not be into Insane Cloud Posse. It may not be your cup of tea. They're not generally my cup of tea, but that one album, The Great Malenko, I think was a very well done and funny and entertaining musically album, even though it's all rap, gangster rap, lots of rough language, and sometimes on this it sounds like they're being vulgar just for the sake of being that way, but it is entertaining, and you can find it on Amazon. So this was lent to me by my son-in-law. He said, I think you might like it. It's not bad. I'm going to finish listening to it, but it's different. And if something's different, at least it's not the same, you know? And yes, Alembic65, I do know that Peter Bergman was a former Clevelander from Shaker Heights. As a matter of fact, on some older Fire Sign Theater bits, you will find references, geographical references to Cleveland. What was it? Was it not Bob's Berserko Lounge? I think it was the Giant Toad Supermarket. I think there's references to Cleveland on the Giant Toad Supermarket ad from the Dear Friends album. Oh, yeah. And rest in peace, Peter, wherever you are. Ugh. All right. More stuff happening. That's what I wanted to get that coffee mug. The list of Rhino Records Rocktober titles have been released. And what I thought was interesting, let me just pull them out here. Do I have them? Okay. It says there's going to be 2 Ministry albums coming out. And of course, I don't have either of them on vinyl, because at the time when they first came out, I was buying CDs exclusively. But The Land of Rape and Honey, which is the one with Stigmata on it, and the Twitch album. Now this is a right here. Oh, here's the Twitch album. Duh. This one is coming out on not on Record Store Day. It's coming out to indie record stores only from Rhino Records. And they're coming out as 2 record sets with extra mixes and other stuff. I couldn't find a track list for these, but this is classic Ministry era. Just classic stuff. Both the Twitch album and the Land of Rape and Honey. Both of them. Yeah, let's see. This thing here, this is a 12-inch single of Over the Shoulder. And I'll bet you these B-sides are going to be on that as well when they come out. So, let me put this back the right way. Oh, yeah. Oh, last week I was talking about the Todd Rundgren album, Liars Live. It arrived, and I've got more information about it. Well, first of all, it is on gold-colored vinyl, and thankfully, it's not real noisy. Here's what it looks like. Gold-tone vinyl. I mean, I got a copy of War's Greatest Hits version 2.0, which was on gold vinyl. And man, I could not get through a side of that record because it was so staticky, noisy, scratchy. Forget it. But this sounds good. But there are good and bad things about this record. The mastering's nice. And this album originally came out in 2005 on CD and also on DVD as a live concert. And this 2024 release is the first time that any of this stuff has been available on vinyl. The downside is that this is not the entire album. This has some songs from the Liar album, the Liars album. There's a couple of songs from the No World Order album, which are really good, including "I Hate My Frickin' ISP" and "Fascist Christ." There's a cover of George Harrison's "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" on it, and let's see. He's also got a couple of his hits: "The Want of a Nail," "Hello It's Me," and "Just One Victory." And there's also a song that he wrote along with the Tubes called "Feel It" that he does. And by the way, here is the gatefold. And in the band is Todd Rundgren on vocals and guitars, John Forensic on keyboards, Jesse Gress on guitar, Prairie Prince on drums, and Kasim Sultan on bass. So, nicely done. To get nitpicky about the sound quality, Todd was definitely using a wireless microphone. And sometimes when he was singing very loud into the microphone broke up a bit and you'll get a couple of little cutouts. So just buyer beware. But if you're a Todd Rundgren collector and you want it, it's available on vinyl. Liars Live. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Best of War Volume 2 is good on CD. Yes, it is. And also, there's a new version that came out of War's Greatest Hits. The original one. It's got the single versions on it. Let me pull it out real quick here, because I've shown it before. Let's see. WAT. It's next to all my Muddy Waters records. And Was Not Was. Is this it? Yeah, this is a good one. Okay. It was released on Record Store Day a couple of years ago, and this version that recently came out on the Rhino Sounds of the Summer, available at your local record store on Sea Blue vinyl. This was cut by Kevin Gray on his all-tube mastering system. And the sound on this is unfreaking believable. So if you don't have this album, pick it up. By the way, if you've got a good copy of the original on United Artists, and you can clean up the record, that sounds great as well. The two are very, very close. But yeah, the original LP is great. But that Best of War 2.0, nah, I do not recommend that. You may think, wow, I'm getting 2 records worth of stuff here. It's not that great. All right, what else can I tell you about? Okay. I'm going to show you some trinkets. Some goodies. That I received recently. What have I got here? Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Greatest Hits. Yeah, that's it. Greatest Hits. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to show you some things that maybe I ought to show you. I was thrilled to get these, and you cannot find these in any store. So there are some of you out there that may be a little jealous, but I'm going to show you a new CD by They Might Be Giants. It's a live album called Beast of Horns. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm also going to show you a patch and another patch going to show you a little thing here. And I'm also going to show you a sticker. And by the way, I also have a t-shirt of that. And I'm also going to show you, remember I showed you a few weeks ago what was it? A jigsaw puzzle from ZZ Top. Here, jigsaw puzzle from They Might Be Giants of the cover of their first album. Now, if you ask me where I got all of these things, well, I'm sorry, you must be talking about some other band. And that's all I'm going to say about it. If you like the band They Might Be Giants, follow them. Go to their website and stuff like that. Yeah. And you'll like it. Yeah, you like it. You love it. Let's see. Your newish CD is War the Hits on Icon. Okay, cool. Yeah, that stuff is recorded really, really well. Even if you're not a big fan of the group War, there is no denying that those records are recorded very nicely. All right. Where else we going? Not that much else going on. What's going on with you folks? Getting ready for the end of summer? For Labor Day? Let's see. Oh, and with Spill the Wine, there's that single version, and then there's the original version that was on the album Eric Burdon Declares War. Now, do I have that under B for Burden or W for War? Hold on a sec. Here we go. Yeah, I got it. Eric Burdon Declares War contains the hit single Spill the Wine. Yeah. Now, the version of Spill the Wine that's on this is longer. And it rocks. I mean, it's got and that's got an extra verse on it, basically. In most cases, when you hear the song "Spill the Wine," you hear the radio version, but there's an extra verse that they cut out to make it shorter to play on radio. So, what can you do with that? Oh, what other records have I been listening to lately? Been pulling out some random records. Listen to my Mobile Fidelity Supertramp Crime of the Century. I'm expecting a Fantomas record from, let's see, your Spill the Wine is 4 minutes and 53 seconds. Okay, well, let me see how long mine is. I think mine's identical to yours, but let me double check this out. Spill the wine. Yep, 4 minutes and 51 seconds. So it's pretty much the same as yours. Very cool. I'll put that away later on this evening. Now, where was I? I was going to pull something else out. Mowgli! You distracted me, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I listened to Supertramp Crime of the Century. And I'm awaiting, at the end of September, they're supposed to release Katie Lied by Steely Dan on the ultra high quality record. And of course, there's also going to be a regular, a regular reissue of Katie Lied. I'm not going to buy the regular reissue because I already have several copies of Katie Lied. I've got an original ABC copy, and I've got the Mobile Fidelity copy, but I'm going to listen to all three of them back to back when they do come out. And it's going to be very interesting because there's lots of horror stories on the internet and in books about what a nightmare recording the album Katie Lied by Steely Dan was. Because they were messing with the DBX noise reduction system and they were having problems calibrating the tapes and things like that. So I'm hoping that Bernie Grundman, who is mastering that album, can pull it out and make it sound better than ever. What other records am I expecting to come soon that I've already ordered? Let's see here. Let's see, I'm waiting for a couple of records for Alternative Tentacles. The guys behind Mystery Science Theater 3000, who went and formed something called Riff Tracks. They're doing a comedy album called Cheap Tunes. I'm waiting for a copy of the new Jack White album, and I did pay for a copy of the Shellac album To All Trains, which came out just about a week or so after Steve Albini passed away. But it got canceled for some reason, and I got to find it someplace else. Oh, well. Still bummed about Steve Albini passing away. What a loss. All right. So what else is going on? Let's see, we're 57 minutes into the hour. Well, we're probably going to finish it up. I'm going to find a good noise on the synthesizer. And we're going to play some of that stuff to go out. Once again, next week we might have no show, or we might have an early in the afternoon show. Keep on checking your YouTube feed, and hopefully we'll be able to get something going for you. And then 2 weeks from tonight, no show at all, because I will be doing a benefit. Let me just make sure I'm correct on that. Let's see. Yeah, on the 7th, either an early show or no show. And on the 14th, no show at all because I'm busy. All right, so that's what's going on. I want to thank you all for stopping by. I'm very grateful that you've stopped by to check out some talk about music for me. If you're interested, you can buy my album, which you see up on the wall where there's usually a Zappa album, or there's a Zappa album behind it. But you can check out my album, listen to it online for free. If you want to buy a copy, that's cool. More things are in the works that I can't talk about, but you never know. They may be happening soon. Listen to the ZappaCast. It's available on all major podcatchers. And last week I talked about the Dweezil Zappa concert, which was fantastic. By the way, somebody posted the entire Royal Oak show on YouTube. So it's Dweezil Zappa at Royal Oak, and it just happened in the past couple of weeks. It's a 90-minute show. They couldn't do their full show because of tragedies with their touring equipment. So that's that. All right, enough of my yapping. I got a couple of seconds here to start making some noise. So I had a great time. Hope you did too. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Bill's Box of Sound. please, right now, it is your duty. Hit the like button below. Hit the like button. And if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. I really do appreciate all my subscribers. More stuff coming soon. I haven't yet edited the Whiskey A Go-Go review. Hopefully that'll be out in a day or so. Have a great Labor Day. Have a great week. Catch you later. Good night, folks. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great week.